when I was in the Japanese village in Little Tokyo. I remember that there was some sort of temple, and they had closed doors, right? And most of them didn't even speak my language. You know, maybe they spoke a little bit, but there were people going in and out of this temple, and you needed to be part of the temple. You needed to be one of the regulars. And they didn't just allow anybody in there. Only certain specific times and certain time windows. And so I asked the guy at the front door, hey, can I come into the temple? Is it okay if I meditate in here? Could I pray in here? I've never been in here before. He said, come back, 2 days from now, come on this particular day at this particular time, and we'll open the door. So I came on that day at that time, and they opened the door. And they let in a foreigner, a foreigner like myself. They let me into the temple. And I went in and I saw different deities. I saw like Buddhas and statues and different things. And I saw incense there to light on the altar. So I took one of the incense sticks, I put it on the altar, I lit the incense stick, and I kid you not, I'll always remember this, I actually prayed. Now listen to this. The feeling is the secret. The wish fulfilled. Act as if. It's already done. Law of attraction. Taking that action. Manifestation. Shifting vibration. The whole combination, right? This was my emancipation proclamation in that situation. And I actually prayed. As silly as it sounds, I could have prayed for anything, right? Your mind is the magic genie. I could have prayed for anything. What did I choose to pray for in that moment? After coming out of the Breatharian retreat, I said, I no longer want to eat. Take this hunger away. This is what I said. I prayed. I actually prayed. And I wrote this in one of my books. I've written this story. But I actually prayed. I said, please take this hunger away. I no longer wanted to feel this endless hunger for food all the time. Consumption, consuming, and dooming myself to this life of just constantly eating and feeding and needing, depleting, and all of this stuff, right? Take this hunger away. That's what I asked. Whatever deity, whatever spirit guides, ancestors, angels, God, universe, nature, take this hunger away. And it'll all be okay, right? I remember going back to the Breatharian retreat with Ellie Tom and everyone else. And either that night or the night after that, it was within 1 or 2 days, I had a dream. We were all together in sleeping bags, just playing Tetris with our bodies in the room. I've told my story so many times. We were with each other in that one room. It was like 9 of us in there. And I had a dream right there in my sleeping bag. And this dream, there was a door. And this door showed me there was more. And it asked me if I wanted to explore whatever was beyond this door. And I knew, subconsciously I knew, this was my wish being fulfilled. This was the question that I had put out to the universe being answered. And it said, Jerome, is this what you want? Are you ready for this? Are you sure? Is this what you want? Be sure. Have certainty. Conviction. Trust your own intuition, but be sure this is actually what you want. And I said, yes, I'm ready. This is what I want, yes. He said, are you sure? I said, yes, I'm sure. This is what I want this. I said, okay. And the door opened in my dream. And I walked through the door. And as soon as I walked through the door, I woke up. And I looked around the room. Everybody else was still sleeping. I was the only one awake. But a shift had occurred. A rift had occurred between my version from before And after walking through that door, something had changed. Something had rearranged. And after that point, it wasn't long. My hunger left. The hunger actually left my body. I was no longer craving. I was no longer slaving. I knew without a shadow of a doubt, I didn't have to put anything in my mouth to survive and to thrive in this existence, in this reality. I had shifted my entire mentality. My mind got the memo, my body got the memo, my cells got the memo, my soul got the memo. Everything understood. We are now deriving nourishment from the sunlight. We are now deriving nourishment from the air. We are now much more aware, right? And I was looking around like, this isn't fair, right? I was looking at people starving on the street. They're begging for food. I'm looking at people in luxurious hotels and restaurants. They have an abundance of food. They have all they need. They're eating more than ever. And I'm just here in the middle, in this in-between space, in this purgatory space, and I don't need any of it. And I was going crazy. I was losing my mind because I no longer had the feeling that I even needed to put something in my body. The feeling was gone. So let's rewind. Rewind. Let's rewind that track. Let's run this back. What were some things that I was doing? Aside from doing Qigong, working with energy, aside from meditation and high vibration, aside from conversations, divine communication, aside from breath work, aside from walking and exercise, right? Aside from reprogramming the mind with conscious literature, you know, books like Hilton Hotima's Man's Higher Consciousness, books like Elitam Elamine, It's Okay to Be Healthy, Human Photosynthesis 101, you know, books like Pranic Nourishment 101, right? Jasmuheen, books like Food of the Gods, books like Ray Mayor, A Year Without Food, right? The Pranic World Book, Christiana El Chayan. I'm rewriting my program, uninstalling to reinstall, deprogramming to reprogram, clearing the cache, defragmenting the computer, throwing that in the recycle bin and emptying the trash, right? Aside from all that, reciting affirmations, bringing in new information, and actually feeling the sensation of the wish fulfilled, feeling that it's already done, it's already mine, it's my time to shine, tapping in with divine without even trying, right? And at first, it feels like you're lying. At first, it does feel like you're trying. It feels like you're putting forth effort because you're making new grooves in your neural network, in your neural pathways, right? But at a certain point, what you say becomes true. The word becomes flesh. So you don't have to stress. You can actually express what you want to the world, what you want to the universe, what you want to your mind. That the mind, if we can impress the subconscious mind, it's working on it while we sleep. Continuously, it never shuts off. There's no off switch for your subconscious. So once the mind gets it, it's game over, really, it's game over. It knows how to actualize the illogical. It knows how to make real the irrational. And it can do it better than what you think you can do consciously. And here's the beautiful part. The more you recite this new information, the more you affirm a higher vibration, it will happen later than you think, but sooner than you know, right? Sooner than you know. You don't realize just how fast a change can take place because I felt it. even without years and years and years and years and years, I felt it. I knew it. After 14 days without food and water, and I wasn't weak, I wasn't suffering, I wasn't fatigued, I knew I can keep going. It was like my body told me, hey, Jerome, we can keep going. When do you want to stop? We can keep going. And the energy's flowing. I remember when my energy did take a dip. I told this story so many times, but there was one day my energy did take a dip. And what did I do? Instead of going to grab some food, right? I'm like, I'm not in the mood. I'm not trying to eat food. I went underneath the sunlight and just raised my hands and did Qigong. Because that's where I felt the energy strong, was doing Qigong. That's where we got the energy in the first place. We started with Qigong. I guess we got to keep doing Qigong. So some people don't even have to do Qigong. Some people just know through their own deductive reasoning. Wait a minute. The cells do not eat. Who is eating? The cells do not drink. Who is drinking? And they, through their own deductive reasoning, just peeling back all of the layers of logic and thought and just, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. They arrive at the conclusion that, hey, this body doesn't need to run on fossil fuels. Actually, it doesn't need anything. And then they can just exist on nothing. Because they realized they are one with it all. They're one with everything. The all that is, right? Some people, they feel like they have to do Qigong, so that's their method. Some people feel like they have to do breath work, that's their method. Some people, meditation, silence, letting go of the violence, right? That's their method. But whatever works for you, as long as you believe it to be true, it's whatever works for you. So this is my message to you, my friend. That was something that was my breakthrough. That I first had to break through the barrier of belief to find relief on the other side. To find a new paradigm. In just a matter of time. So, blessings, less stressings to you. May all of life's chi be expressing in you. My friend, this has been Jerome Shaw, and I trust you got a lot out of this message. For more information like this on pranic living or breatharianism, all things on this topic, check out our website that we have for you. The website is patreon.com/pranicpath. See you soon. Stay in tune.